Hi everyone, welcome to your Save to Win onboarding session. My name is Jessica Thalen and I'm the Save to Win Program Manager for CU Solutions Group. Today I'll be walking you through the next steps to your product launch. We're going to take a look at the official rules document, which is the Exhibit B, the data requirements and sample file, which is Appendix 3, as well as the data admin guide, the truth and savings disclosure, Appendix 4, and the marketing plan, Appendix 5. Before I get started, make sure you have signed into the Save to Win administrative website so you can follow along with me as I go through each of these documents. If you have not received your login information, send me an email with your name, title, and contact number and I'll set you up with access. Logged into the admin site? Great, let's begin. Once you've logged into the admin site, click on the Implementation Documents link on the left-hand side of the screen. Let's open the first document. When going through this document, notice that there's a first page that has all the instructions to complete the template. Each credit union is required to fill out an official rules document for their program. You will complete this highlighted sections in the template and remove all of the text that is highlighted. Once you're finalized with the rules, send the final PDF format to CU Solutions Group, which should not include the cover page, any footers, or the text highlighting. Your official rules will be posted on the Save to Win consumer website at www.savetowin.org for consumers to see and search for your credit union. Let's take a look at the template. As I just mentioned, all of the areas in yellow are to be highlighted by your credit union, so you'll want to modify this for your credit union's program. Insert your credit union name here. If your credit union chooses to have a monthly or quarterly prize drawing specific to your members, you'll want to unhighlight this area here and include that in your final rules template. Moving to the second section, if you want to allow your members to deposit unlimited deposits into your Save to Win accounts, you will include this first highlighted sentence. If your credit union is choosing to put a cap on the account up to no less than $3,000, you will include the second sentence and remove the first one. If your credit union wants to employ a 6-month waiting period for any closed accounts before an account holder can open a new qualifying certificate account, you can unhighlight this sentence in your official rules to allow this stipulation. The next section, prize eligibility, has a couple areas where you can highlight as well. If your credit union wants to exclude family members of employees or board members from being able to have Save to Win accounts, then you'll want to unhighlight this sentence and include that in your official rules template. If you don't mind that family members, spouses, or childs of your employees or board members to have accounts, you can remove this sentence. Next, if your credit union wants to allow members to win a credit union prize and a central drawing prize in the same month or quarter, you can include whether they're eligible or not eligible to win those prizes with this sentence here. Moving down to the next section, prizes, you'll see there's a few areas here that are highlighted as well that require your modifications. If you're having a credit union drawing, you will want to unhighlight this area and this area in the section. If you are not having a credit union individual member only drawing, you can remove those sentences. Same for here. This applies to your credit union's individual member only drawing. Again, if you're not having a member drawing, you can remove the sentence. This next highlighted section here also pertains to credit union specific member drawings. If your credit union is choosing to have a member-only drawing, you will want to include your credit union's drawing information here. All other central prize drawing information can be found on the savetowin.org website. Again, if your credit union is having an individual member-only drawing, in the odd section, you will want to make sure you unhighlight this section so that that is included in your final template. And the last area you'll want to highlight is this section here that will be your credit union's name in case any consumers need to contact you. Let's take a look at the next document, Appendix 3, which is the data requirements and sample data file. On this document, you'll notice that there are several fields that are filled out here. This is the required data that your credit union will be supplying on a monthly basis to the secure administrative website so that we're able to assign entries to your members based on their deposit transactions. As you'll notice, there's two tabs here we're going to look at, the data requirements and also a sample data file. Let's start with the data requirements tab. The first thing I want to show you is the column A, which is what your CSV or final comma delimited file will look like, and each of these records will correspond to those columns in your sample data file. So as you can see, column A is the first name, column B is the last name, column C is the address, and so on. Back to the data requirements tab, here is your first name column, B is your last name column, and C is the street address, and so on. Column B here is the required fields that your credit union will need to populate every month in order to submit your monthly data file through the secure administrative website. Column C is the type of text, integer, float, or character that the data fields need to be in. Column D discusses the length of those values. Column E is the strict values and formats. Column F is the miscellaneous comments, and column G is how the information is used. Let's take a look at the first 6 fields: first name, last name, street address, city, state, and zip code. These are the basic demographic information that we are required to check to verify and identify winners. The second set of data fields we're going to look at have to do with the deposit and the withdrawal amounts and also include balance requirements. We use this information to compare and verify calculations and also to calculate the number of entries each member earns based on their deposit activity. Pay attention to this column K, which is the number of withdrawals. This number should only be a 0 or 1 in your monthly data file. If this number happens to be 2 or greater, this record will be automatically excluded from the drawing set. This is a cumulative number over the 12-month term, and members are only allowed 1 withdrawal per 12-month term, so that number should represent a whole number of 0 or 1 at the end of the month. If the number is a 2, then the account should also be noted as closed. Let's take a look at the last set of data columns. These have to do with making sure that the account requirements satisfy all of your state rules. So the first thing is the account status. Is it opened or closed? We'll want to make sure that it's open because all closed accounts are not eligible for prizes. We track to see if an account is a new member. If it's a new member, you would put a Y for yes. If it's not a new member, you would put N for no. This is something that we track and is different based on each credit union's definition of a new member. If it happens to be a new member that walks in and opens an account right away, they would be noted as a yes for new member. If they happen to be an existing member that has other accounts with you and then just signs up for the Save to Win share certificate, you would mark them with an N for no. This next record is to identify credit union employees. If your credit union is choosing to have an employee drawing, you will mark all of those records with a Y for yes. All other member accounts would be marked with an N for no. We use this coding in the data files to separate the employee drawing data from all other member drawing data. The next field we're going to look at is the share certificate open date. This is to be the date that the member opens their Save to Win account, not the date that they open their traditional share account, unless it happens to be the same date. We use this data to track how often accounts are rolling over and how long members are holding their accounts, and also is used to exclude any type of duplicate accounts. Anytime an account rolls over, you'll want to make sure that you keep the original open date for their share certificate. Next is the account holder's birth date. We use this to make sure that the winners are at least 18 years or older. All persons under 18 would be automatically excluded from the drawing set. And lastly, this field is for the account holder's social security number. Since each member is allowed 1 account per person per social security number, this allows our system to delete any duplicate accounts that are not eligible. Now that we've looked through all of the type of data that you're going to be collecting, let's take a look at this sample data file to see what it will look like when you get ready to upload it to the administrative website. So as you can see, we have all of the columns here with all of the records that you've collected over the month, all the way out to the member social security number. So at the end of the day, you will have 18 columns out to row R with all of your members' information, and then you will have as many rows down as you do have accounts. When you're getting ready to upload this data file, you want to make sure there's no header on your data file. This should just be raw data. When you go to save this data file, make sure that you're saving it as a comma delimited or .csv version. This will show on your desktop as a little A icon, and that is the file that you will be uploading to the administrative website. Let's scroll down to take a look at the data admin guide, which goes along with the sample data file. This is located in the other resource section of the administrative website. The data admin guide is something that we would like to share with new credit unions just to kind of review the process for submitting your data. The soundness and credibility of the Save to Win program relies heavily upon the quality of our data, so it's very important that we are fair and accurate in all of our administrating efforts with the PrizeLink Savings Raffle, as we are subject to not only financial industry scrutiny, but also held accountable under state and federal rules. Each participating credit union is a steward of this brand and a contractual partner in the program. This means that we all have the responsibility and due diligence to make sure that we're reporting accurate data. As you're going through this, I want you to keep in mind a few things. If you supply inaccurate data, that can definitely impact your members' chances to win. Data that's supplied by your credit union is verifying the member transaction, and we use that on our system to calculate the number of entries into the drawing. If your member's account is not listed on the report, they will not be given the opportunity to win. If the month-over-month balances are inaccurate, this will impact the number of entries that they will receive for the drawings. Secondly, we can be audited. This is a PrizeLink savings account, as we mentioned, that is subject to state laws in addition to the standard auditing of credit unions. Making sure that you keep records of your data is a requirement of the product and will help us avoid any audit violations. Third, everyone's reputation is in jeopardy if inaccurate data is provided. The Save to Win brand and reputation of all the participating credit unions, CU Solutions Group, and our partners at Doors to Dreams relies on accurate data and fair administration of the program. I'll let you take a look at the next couple sections, but this just kind of walks through, again, the importance of quality and accurate data and making sure that when you're pulling your data reports, you're checking them before they're sent through the automated system. Credit unions are responsible for ensuring the quality and accuracy of their data reports prior to submitting their files through the administrative website. Your credit union's data file determines your members' qualification for the drawing entries, how many they receive, and their overall eligibility. CUSG provides each credit union with a data check tool which will assist you in identifying your data errors and gives you the opportunity to resolve those errors prior to sending your files through the administrative website. CU Solutions Group's data system also provides a secondary level of basic automated data verification. Once you receive your data file, we do a second data report check the format, and make sure all of the data errors have been resolved prior to performing the drawing. If there are any outstanding errors, they will be sent back to credit unions and you will be required to submit a new file with corrected data. Section 2 Data Requirements just reiterates what we just reviewed in the Appendix 3 document. Moving on to the Section 3 Monthly Data Schedule. Central Program Administration requires a regimented data collection schedule to ensure timely drawing, validation, and member notification each month. Credit unions are responsible for providing their data based on the schedule below. If data is not submitted in a given month and direct contact is not made with CU Solutions Group Save to Win Program Coordinator prior to the deadline, your credit union's data will not be included in that month's drawing. So for that reason, we've outlined a few key dates that you'll want to make sure that you put on your calendar as recurring data notifications. Monthly data files are due by the 8th day of each month. If the 8th day of the month falls on a weekend or holiday, the file will be due the following Monday. The 13th day of the month. Data errors must be corrected by this day. If you receive a notification from us notifying you that there is an error that needs to be corrected, all correct files must be resubmitted through the administrative website by the 13th day of the month. If you have a correction that needs to be uploaded, contact your program administrator so we can delete the current file that we have on our system, which will allow you to upload your new data file. The 14th day of the month is the day that all central drawings are performed. If the 14th falls on a weekend or holiday, the drawing will be held on the preceding Friday. Notifications of the winners will be sent out when the central drawing process is complete. At that time, between the 14th and the 16th day of the month, credit unions may perform their optional monthly member or employee drawings. Between the 15th day and the last day of the month, new credit unions entering the program may test their Save to Win data file uploads at this time. Please work with the system administrator to test your files. Moving to Section 4, this area outlines the data collection process and shows you how to log into the administrative website. The first section shows you a print screen of the administrative website that you will be able to log in once you've received your username and password. All credit unions that submit an Appendix 2 credit union information sheet with users to the Save to Win product administrator will be assigned a login. If you have forgotten your password, click the Forgot Password link below and a temporary password will be sent to you. Next step, click the Upload Participant Data tab to begin the upload process. Click the Browse button to select your .csv or comma delimited file from its location on your computer, then click Upload Data. If your data file contains formatting errors or invalid data types, you'll receive a list of errors such as those shown below. Errors must be corrected in your data file before the system will accept your file. Once the errors have been corrected and the new file is saved on your computer, repeat steps listed in Section 4.3. If your data file contains no formatting errors, your file will be queued for import, and you'll receive the following message which will appear on the screen, that your data has been queued for import. You will then receive an email with details and exceptions after your queued data has been processed. At this time, your data might be queuing, which means that your files are being imported on a staggered basis to prevent browser timeouts or long wait periods while you're actively logged in. We're also taking a look at those social security numbers in our temporary data file, and our system is encrypting those to a 16-digit hash algorithm code. By the time we receive it on our end, that number is destroyed, and we only receive that digit to uniquely identify each count. At that time, our system is also assigning markers, also known as entries, based on that deposit activity. For every $25 in month-over-month balance increase, members will receive one entry into that monthly and quarterly drawing. The last definition is a data error. This is something that you may receive an email notification about if there's discrepancies in any of the balance figures. You can also check the data check tool and the instruction guide to walk through some of the most commonly seen errors. We're not going to go through the common data errors at this time, as we will have a separate section and video to walk through the common type of data errors in your check tool and how to resolve them. But this is a good guide for you to use as a resource if you'd like to check back. Section 5.2 talks about formatting errors. One thing that you may notice is that if your reports are not pulled at the same time each month, you could be receiving data errors for that. For example, all data files should be reported starting at 12 a.m. on the first day of the month and ending at 11:59 p.m. on the last day of the month. If your report is generated from the second day through the 27th day of the month, the data will be inaccurate from month to month. Best practice, make sure that you're diligent in selecting the proper data parameters when generating your monthly reports. Double check your calendar for the correct month end date. The next type of formatting error you may receive is that the data files are not updated each month. When reports are updated monthly, a new data file must be pulled for every field. For example, if the month-end balance column is not updated but the number of deposits is, this will create an irreconcilable data comparison. The best practice to resolve this type of error is to ensure that the parameters for your monthly report reset every month. If your data fields do not follow the formats as listed in the Appendix 3, you may receive a data error. For example, if the decimal point in the month-end balance is shifted to the right or left, the data will be inaccurate and your file will not be accepted. The best practice in this case, again, use the Appendix 3 data requirement sheet as a guideline to format your data file prior to uploading. In addition to some of the practices, the legal and integrity-based implications of data errors and the administrative effectiveness of the program is inhibited by poor data collection practices, which results in laborious efforts to correct data and takes away from our ability to promote and enhance the Save to Win product. CUSG and our partners at Doors to Dreams will continue to improve this document and our data upload process as opportunities to create a simpler process for you becomes available. We appreciate your partnership and cooperation with these import data guidelines, and feel free to take a look at the last section 7 for any other resources. Next, we're going to take a look at the Appendix 4 Truth in Savings Disclosure Template. This document is a template similar to your official rules. When completing this disclosure template, credit unions are required to disclose certain details about any share certificate or certificate of deposit account upon the time of account opening. This template was created to help credit unions meet their disclosure requirements. Keep in mind, there are several points as you're updating this disclosure. 1. This template was drafted as a disclosure creation aid. If your credit union has an existing Truth in Savings format or standard form, you are not required to use this document. This is an optional document that you can choose to modify for your program. If your credit union chooses to use this template, you're solely responsible for the accuracy of the terms noted in the disclosure. Several areas of this template have highlighted text that requires customization prior to being used. Your final disclosure should be reviewed by your operations staff, compliance expert, and/or your legal team. This template does not supersede your credit union's policies or procedures, Truth in Savings disclosures, or other account terms and conditions. The way the Truth in Savings disclosure is used is as follows. Your disclosure should be provided to each account holder who opens a Save to Win certificate. Your disclosure should be updated anytime you change the terms and conditions of your Save to Win certificate. And lastly, your Truth in Savings disclosure is not posted on the SaveToWin.org consumer website, nor is maintained by the CU Solutions Group's Save to Win product manager. So with that in mind, let's jump into the template. Just like with the official rules template, you will notice there are areas highlighted in yellow that require customization from your credit union. If you're starting the program January 1st, you can leave this effective date as is. If you're starting the program any other time during the year, you want to change this to your start date. Depending on if you are a state or federal chartered credit union, you may call your Save to Win account a share certificate or certificate of deposit. The interest or dividend, again, will be determined by your state or federal charter. You will also want to include your standard rate and annual APY. This entire section, rate information, will need to be modified by your credit union based on how you are posting your interest or dividends to be paid out on the account. This also includes information about compounding for the period. Again, if your credit union pays out interest or dividends, you will adjust this accordingly and also determine if you're going to compound and credit any interest or dividend at maturity of the certificate or a different time period throughout the year. If your credit union has a minimum balance requirement on your traditional share accounts of something other than $5, you will need to adjust this area here. The next two sections, balance computation method and accrual of interest areas, need to be modified by your credit union. In the withdrawal and penalty section, if your credit union chooses to deduct the penalty from the principal amount, you can include and unhighlight this sentence. Any information about additional withdrawal penalties can be included in this area here. In the transactions section, make sure to update the raffle period date for the current program year. The last section is the renewal policy. This will need to be adjusted by your credit union based on how you want to roll over your accounts. You'll also want to include notification time periods and your grace period, which may be different for each credit union. Now that we've looked at this disclosure, let's take a look at the last document, which is your Appendix 5 Marketing Plan. The Save to Win program does not have set marketing requirements, but rather have provided a marketing plan that will help you develop your 12-month marketing campaigns throughout the year. The marketing materials are developed and refreshed annually by CU Solutions Group, and there's no cost for creative work, but the printing and shipping costs are the responsibility of the credit union. Credit unions can add their logos and/or contact information on any of the marketing pieces or have web banners resized for additional costs. Creative print-ready files, program logos, and other images are free to download on the Save to Win administrative website. Credit unions can order print materials through the Save to Win Credit Union admin site or download the print-ready files and provide them to their local print vendors. This just lists all of the print materials that are available that you can download from the administrative website. We also have a variety of other free materials that are available on the admin site as well. The last section here goes through the suggested marketing plan for credit unions. We recommend that credit unions develop a 12-month marketing plan for their Save to Win program. You can use the marketing channels as outlined below, or feel free to use your own depending on what you know reaches your members. Creative marketing campaigns are also encouraged to promote the Save to Win program throughout the year. This chart lists the suggested items to order, the amount of that item, and the recommended frequency of posting this throughout the year. So for example, the first item is a lobby poster, which is recommended to have one per branch and recommended to be posted throughout the branches at least 6 months out of the year. Statement stuffers are recommended to have one per account and be sent out 2 times per year, and so on and so forth. Again, this is just a guideline, so feel free to go outside of these, order more or less depending on what you know will reach your members. A lot of credit unions will also use a creative marketing plan by posting banners and images and newsletters throughout the year as well. Feel free to use digital marketing in your branches and also on your social media websites. Those are all the documents we're going to look at today. Before we end this session, I want to remind you of a few items to work on before our next session. If you haven't already started working on modifying your official rules, download the template and look at the areas that need to be modified. Also, you'll want to make sure that you're working with your IT staff or data processor to start setting up the product and account requirements in your system. Prepare your truth and savings disclosure. You can either download the version from the admin site or use your credit union standard form. And lastly, review the marketing plan and start preparing your product campaign and order your marketing materials. This can be done through the administrative website or with your local print vendor. Thank you for watching this session. Hopefully it helped you in preparing you to launch your program. Feel free to contact me via phone or email if you have any questions.